Hey guys, Serenity, Soul Invictus. I am back and it's not so bright in here. I'm trying to open up everything to kind of get some more light going, but it's not really. Is that better? I think it's a little better. Um, I don't know if it's going to get any better than this. Maybe I should put these on because I can hear a lot better. I can speak a lot better, but whatever. Hey guys, I hope I get some people to join me because I hate talking to myself, especially when I am trying to do this live streaming thing. I get annoyed actually. But are you being pimped is the question today. Today is Monday and I just had this startling revelation over the weekend and I'm like really ready to share this information. I've been doing a lot of like contemplation, a lot of research, had a lot of conversations with people, all of that kind of stuff. And so I would like to just dive into this topic today. And it is quite the serious one. Okay, so we're just going to see if we get anybody to join. And if not, I'm going to jump right in because that's just me. That's what I do. I have on a crop top today, and my daughter's like, "Oh my God, Mom, you're gonna wear a crop top?" Like, I was like, "Why not?" She's like, "She's like, don't do it, Mom." So I said, "Why not? Like, what am I? A senior citizen? Excuse me." So she's like, "Okay, whatever. Do what you feel like." And I said, "Okay, no, I would not wear a crop top." But as she went to school, I put on a crop top. So I'm sneaking to dress behind my daughter's back. This is crazy. um, so, anyways, like I said, today's topic, are you being pimped? It's the question. And for many of us, we'd be like, oh, hell no, pimped. Nobody can pimp me. That's definitely something I would say. Uh, but sadly, though, a lot of us are being pimped or have been pimped, and we don't even know it. So, we want to get into that topic this morning. What is the definition of pimping? Okay. And the only way for you to know if you are, in fact, a victim of this. uh, this kind of behavior, this crime of the other sex, is to know what the definition of pimping is, really the definition. And I found some people talking about this topic, some very reputable people who actually have a reputation, a very sound and solid reputation, who have a congregation. Some of them actually just who've been through it themselves, experience, personal experience, and so I, and of course, my own observation. So I like to analyze things. I like to dive to the bottom of situations. And when I see patterns, when I see things continuously happening, I need to know what the dynamics of that, what is causing that, what patterns are at play here. Um, so, the definition of pimping, let's just get right to that. Dr. Reverend R.C. Blakes is someone that I'm subscribed to on YouTube. Just recently found his channel. He's a wonderful minister, pastor, teacher, author, all of that. You guys know I deal with metaphysical stuff. I deal with magic and all of that stuff. People would say, oh, that does not go hand in hand with Christianity because this guy is a Christian pastor. But remember now, I have come from a Christian home, come from a Christian family, Christian nation, actually. So a lot of the things that are said are still sound, solid facts, sound wisdom, because remember, the Bible is still a magical book. Don't forget that. And so when he talks, it's like, he comes from a place of love. All right. And that's at the end of the day what Christianity is supposed to be all about. It's supposed to be about higher consciousness, connecting with spirit, the God within you, and love. Basically, that's what it's all about. So when he talks about these topics, when people like him talk about these things, I tend to listen because there is spiritual and scriptural evidence to back up whatever they say. Now, here's what Reverend, I think Dr. Blake says. His definition of pimping, is to invade a woman's consciousness to the extent that you control her feelings, her choices, and you as a man, we're talking about the female being pimped here, and you as the man readjusting her standards to a level that suits your best interests. Does that sound adequate to you? Does that sound like the correct definition? Let me say that again quickly. The definition of pimping: to invade a woman's consciousness to the extent you control her feelings, her choices, and you as a man readjust her standards to a level that suits your best interests. So to me, that was like ding, 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 ding. That is the exact, I would not have phrased it or termed it or worded it better than that. So just by that definition alone, I can end this video, because if the answer to that question, if that definition suits your particular relationship or situationship or whatever it is that you're in, then you know the answer. If you're actually thinking of the question, if you're actually wondering what the definition means, then you don't have to ask yourself any longer, because you were already in it. All right. I should have just put a little beautiful clip that I have. Oh, that would have been just perfect right there. Let me see if I can just tuck that right there, because that is annoying. So anyways, remember now, we think about pimping. Once we think about the word pimping, to be pimped, we automatically think about a prostitute. We automatically think about a hooker. We think about a streetwalker, somebody standing on the stop sign or stop light, hey, like trying to tide a ride with a leg out or something. But remember, to be pimped, you can be being pimped long before that stage, long before that even happens. And sometimes women end up to that stage because of the state that they're in now, or in their relationship now. It automatically leads to that later on in the future, because don't let things like substance abuse and all those things come into play. Then you spiral completely out of control. You spiral downward, and you don't know how you ended up here on the street corner. Many of us, we know that's not what we're going to do, but I'm just saying right now, this is a very important topic, and that's why I wanted to reiterate what Reverend Dr. Blake says, and also add my own information here and things that I feel, because a lot of women are going through this right now. And men these days, I want to say the roles of men and women are very muddy in this day and age. Like, men and women are kind of confused in the roles they're supposed to play. And it's telling a lot in our society. It's damaging our society, and it's damaging the minds of people who have so much to offer, so much potential. It's actually crippling them. A lot of times I see people with, just check this out for a little instant. This is just something that occurred to me. A lot of times you see people with physical ailments, right, that actually paralyze them, that actually cripple them physically. And to me, as above, so below, as within, so without. To me, this is a telltale sign of something, a feeling of paralyzation from within that is manifesting itself outwardly. When you are unable to move physically anymore, I believe it's because your mind has been stuck first. I believe it's because there's something, that immobility comes from your consciousness, comes from your spirit. It's something you need to be freed. You need to be able to move. You know, you are blocked. And that's why I believe all of these things, if you look at cancer, if you look at these types of ailments, these things are physical representations of inner chaos, inner problems, inner conflict. And this is why health is so important. This is why we have to take care of ourselves from inside the inside out, because it will manifest outwardly if we ignore it, if we allow it to just keep growing. So here it is, like I said before, that was just a little side note. Many of us are being pimped and don't even know it. All right. So the stages now, I have a few notes written down so I don't forget, anything. But when you look at it, this video is live. This is a live stream. So actually, I'm not really monitoring time so much because I am just willing to talk about this. And if I get anybody who's going to join me in this, feel free to do so. You can ask questions, you can whatever. Also, hit like as early as you can in this video if this topic is something that resonates with you, if it's something that you think that we need to be hearing, if we need to actually encourage people to think about. So the stage is now to pimping. Guys like to use that word, remember that song, Big Pimpin', JC? That was a thing. And now it's something degrading. It's a disgrace actually on a king's part, on a man's part, as God man, to treat your God woman in such a manner. So here's the stages now. We're going to go to from the beginning. Man, I don't even know where to start actually, because there's so much to say about this. But these guys, I'm going to get to what they are first. I mean, last after I finish talking about this. But the first thing these guys do, who are so eager and desperate to develop this soul tie, this unhealthy soul tie relationship with you, this sexual tie, is to learn certain details, learn as many details actually about your life as possible. I cannot really pause the video. I'm trying to put a picture in here or something through the broadcaster, but it's not really working. So I'm gonna just leave that alone and come back so I don't mess it up. They learn all the details of your life from you early on in the relationship and moving forward. And they learn it from you. They don't go around investigating because they don't have time for that. They just learn it from you because this is an investment they're trying to do in themselves. So they're going to hear it from you. This is coming straight from the horse's mouth. They're going to get all of the information that they need as ammunition. That's what I call it, ammunition, because even when talking about situations in our past, in my past, for instance, I know there were situations where I definitely regretted saying certain things to my significant other, whether it was my husband now, my boyfriends then. I definitely regretted it because I'm like, this is something that I was taught from a young age. Like my grandma said this, you don't tell men everything about your life. You don't tell men everything about your family. And she taught me that from a very young age. So sometimes just being that, all that bubbly in love kind of infatuation kind of stuff, you kind of get so attached to a person that you think that you can trust them, and you share all of these informations. You say about how you felt as a child not growing up with a father. You said all of these things not knowing that these were going to be later on used against you. Okay. And it's a sad situation because everyone is looking for love. We're never expecting people to use our wounds to make our lives worse. You're thinking that they're trying to actually help us. So you tell them about your family. You tell them about the quarrels in your family. You tell them about, how your best friend betrayed you or whatever. You tell them everything that ever hurt you, everything that you ever dreamed about, everything that, excites you, all of these stuff. So then now, that's the first step. Now that you're divulging yourself, you're actually giving your entire being to this man. they actually are going to now reciprocate by trying to be more persistent in your life. They're going to actually be clingy. They're going to be there. They're going to be like overbearing over you. It's like, you can't get a minute to breathe. Every time you have spare time, there they are. They're going to just pop up like, hey, just come to check on you, my baby, my love, my precious, my precious. Yeah, that kind of way. And here you are once again thinking now this is your savior. This is your knight in shining armor who's now come to save you. He's come to rescue you. They love to use that word. That word, it's a very serious word. So, compliments tell you everything they want you to hear, or that you want to hear, that they think you want to hear. You know, I know there's sometimes some people who have told me in my life that I am beautiful, right? And I never swear for anybody or put my head on a chopping block for anybody, but in the past, it seemed so genuine. It was so genuine. And then I heard other people say it to me, and it's like it had no effect. It had no meaning. It's just like, And then they may think that I'm being conceited, like, yeah, oh, you're so beautiful. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, because it didn't really impact me like that, because it didn't feel like it was coming from a sincere place. Whereas when other persons or people said it to me, it's like the greatest sounding thing in the whole wide world. And I don't know if that's because of my feelings toward them or whatever it was, but your gut knows. Trust your instincts here. So, anyway, remember now, after they've invested all this time with you, don't forget they may not be rich. They don't have the most money in the world, because people usually who have wealth, who have like a life, who have ambition, who have, they don't have time to be around trying to pimp females. So after they've done all of this, they've showered you with affection and attention and time, you know, you've showered them with all the details of your life leading up to the present moment. They feel like they've invested so much in you at this point. They feel like they've done so much to help you. They've been your shoulder to cry on. Where, in fact, is this going to lead next? Can anybody take a wild guess? Sex. That's the next thing. That's just naturally the next thing that's going to happen, because this guy, that was his plan all along. His plan all along was to get you to trust him, to get into your good books so that he could get into your pants. That's the bottom line. So now the sex is definitely physically it may be great. However, you're going to realize that this is not leading you anywhere. This is not leading anywhere fast. That this guy really is not committing to his promises. This guy is not really committing to anything. This guy is now actually not even there for you the way he was in the past, in the beginning. Um, Slacking off could come in so many different ways. Slacking off is not always a commitment to marriage, because some guys marry you. They want to marry you so that they can lock you down at home, so that you can be their domestic slave, you know, and sex slave. Don't forget the sex. It's always a part of it. It's like with these guys, it's like penises have a mind of their own. It's like they are two different separate entities that are just attached by a waistline or something. Like, I don't understand. So now you are going to be feeling some type of way. You're going to start feeling like, okay, he's not really valuing me. This isn't what I thought it was. Because he was never the guy that he pretended to be. He pretended to be this person so that he could get along with you, so that he can reach like touchdown. So think about this. A guy you have, this is what I want females to understand. Think about this. If you have a guy, let's just say you like to listen to, you like Carrie Underwood and uh, Janelle Monáe and say Keith Urban. right? Let's just say you meet a guy from Inglewood, like, something like that. And he's like, yo, dog, I love me some Carrie Underwood. Yo, that's my chick. That's like, I am not so sure. Then here it goes. He's like trying to sing along. He's like Terry Crews in White Chicks, like making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and I'm homebound. Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. Don't forget this guy from Inglewood. Inglewood? Like, think about that. It's like, it doesn't really fit, does it? Think about this guy now. He's like, you're a vegetarian or vegan or whatever, right? And this guy, their family, he grows up in a home with family who has like barbecues every flipping like weekend, right? They eat hot dogs, they eat steak, they eat burgers, they eat whatever has skin on it and like legs, okay? But you're vegan. And he's like, oh, babe, yeah, I'm trying to eat healthier too. I don't even bother with that stuff no more. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not sure. Think about this. People pretend very well, but you can add up the signs. This is what you have a mind for. This is what you have a certain level of consciousness. This is what you have all of these external senses for, to actually sift out the signs. Okay? So now he can't pimp you out on the street. He would if he could have, but you're not the type to do that too. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna find a better way to pimp her. She's workable. She's a work in progress. And he has you already in the palm of his hands, in a position of power. He has you. All right. So, needless to say, you may not end up on the street corner, but he's gonna find a way to actually extend this pimpage of you. He's going to find a way to actually put you in a position where you feel like a streetwalker. All right. Basically, that's just it. Like, when a queen is not aware, this is what Dr. Blake says, Reverend Dr. Blake says, when a queen is not aware of who she is, a clown could pimp her easily. And he's like, you know what? You're being pimped by Bozo. That don't sound too good. That gave me a sick stomach, actually. Because clowns love to pimp queens. This gives them, their ego, a sense of like power, like they feel like they're the man now. Don't forget now. Don't forget the sex. That's where it ends up, right? But that's not how far this thing could go. All right? Don't forget, he's promising you a fantasy. This image, this thing in your mind is not like real. So when he hears all of the things that you have heard about, all the things that you have been through that have hurt you, or that have, whatever it is, he's going to use that against you. So now all he can do is fix up a story, which is the fantasy, the promise, which is the comfort to a fool, the promise or the fantasy of all the things that you've told him. And you're like, wow, this guy, how did he know that? You forgot that in week 2, you told them all about your stepdad and all this kind of stuff. Like, you forgot, because now you made it to like month 6 with this guy. You don't remember what you told him the second week of y'all dating? But he does, because this is a part of his plot, a part of the scheme, you see? So the fantasy is something that he can never produce because he's not that guy. That's the thing you got to remember. Pay attention to things. Start noticing these things, the basics, because he's going to find out now you work, you may have a car, may have an apartment even, you have responsibilities. You're a responsible person. So he likes that. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get with her. She's workable, like that word I said, So he's promising you all these things based on the script that you've given him. You've put a book in his hand with all of your lives and details and information. So he can flip back at any time and say, what scheme am I going to go use on her today? Like, okay, promise her we're going to travel together. Promise her we're going to see the world together. Promise her, like that commercial, black people, blackpeoplemeet.com, I think, where the guy's like, oh yeah, that's my dream. We're gonna be like the ultimate black power couple. He promised you we're gonna be a power couple, babe. Like, yeah, I got you. When in fact, if you're using your eyes, your real eyes, and these eyes, you will realize that this guy is full of lies. Because first of all, this guy don't got no job. If he has a job, maybe he doesn't make much at all, like enough to support you and himself at the same time and elevate from there. Or he's got no bank account. He doesn't even have identification to go to the bank with. He may not have a driver's license. Believe that there are guys who are like well up in their age and they don't have driver's licenses. They've been winging it the whole time. Okay. Some guys don't even have a car. He's using your car. But he's going to tell you, don't forget now. Don't forget, I'm a more freestyle spiritualist. So I always look at people's spirits. This guy don't have one spiritual inkling in his body. Like he's like the furthest thing from spirituality that you could ever see. But he's telling you, yeah, I meditate. I do all of that. Like, you know, we're going to be going on retreats. We're going to do some stuff. If you add that up now, this is going into month 7, month 8, month 9. But none of these things are panning out. None of these things. In fact, things are getting worse because he's taking from you. That's what he's doing. And eventually, this is going to destroy the foundation of the relationship. It's going to destroy more and more of your self-esteem, your self-worth, because people who do this actually, I have one viewer. Hi, thanks for the like. I hope you're enjoying this topic because I think we really need to talk about this a lot more, a lot more. People who do this tend to remove you from people who love you, others who love you, that support system who's around you. Perhaps that could be your parents, that could be your even your kids sometimes, your family members, anybody who's in your life who loves and supports you. That could be your church, your work, like your boss and coworkers and stuff like that. That could be a lot of people, siblings, trust me, a lot of us have big brothers, big sisters who don't play. Like they don't play that game. Like, they say, what this nigga do? Like where he at? Like they ready to come check him right now. So he's got to remove you from all of those people. He's got to make sure that you ain't got no backup. So that's when the abuse is going to start. Now, when you are starting to live this lonely life, when you just go to work, come home, you and him have relations. Once again, you deal with the kids. He goes out, does his thing. You go to work, come home. Whenever he calls, he knows you're home. Like that's safe. Yeah, she workable. All right. So this is a pathological. I want to use a word so bad, but I'm trying not to today because this topic really calls for a little bit of obscenity because these guys are like really narcissistic MFs. All right. But the abuse is not going to really start when you have backup, when you have that support. They're going to start this stuff when you're alone, when you're lonely, when you're at your breaking point, you're weak, you're tired of this shit. You're like, what the hell is going on? Like, I didn't sign up for this. But at the same time, you were signing up for it every day. You were writing pages in that script, in that manuscript for him to keep and put in his pocket and drive off in your car with to study so that he can come back and play you. All right. These guys are lame brothers, usually with low self-esteem, usually with low like IQ, low morals, low education, low like money. Don't forget the money. And they're feeding off you like a parasite. And this is why you become so drained. This is why because as a woman, we give a lot. We usually give a lot of ourselves. This is why we end up sharing all this information with them. This is why we spend our time with them and let them use our car because we are nurturers by nature. By nature. And some people definitely take advantage of nature. We know that. They don't care about those laws. They don't know about those laws. They don't give a F about those laws. They're going to just trample, like casting your pearls among swine. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because this world is full of swine these days. And we are here to protect one another as female, as goddesses, as God women. We have to look out for each other. And that's why I'm doing this topic today. This channel talks about all kinds of stuff. I don't just stick it to magic. I don't just stick it to spirituality. All of this, it ties into one another. This is what life was all about. So these guys, now back to the topic, is a mirror pattern. This is what I've realized. It's a mirror pattern for whatever vibration you were at, whatever frequency you were at that particular time in your life. You attracted that kind of person. You may have been looking for attention. You may have been looking for affection and love, acceptance, whatever. You may have been looking for that, like at that time. You may have felt low, like, abandoned, neglected. And here it is. This person comes with the exact thing that you were seeking. I know for some, I've seen situations where some people just ended up in a rebound relationship, right? And this thing turned out to be the worst thing that could possibly happen to them in their life. Why? Because they were in love with somebody, desperately in love with somebody, and the person left or it didn't work out. Something happened and they split apart. Here comes this guy now, a rescuer. Like I said, this is why I don't like that word. Swoops you up now on this white horse and you guys fly off. But then where are you flying to? Hell? Because you weren't in the right frame of mind to get into another relationship at that point as yet. You weren't healed from the previous relationship as yet. You need to give yourself time to heal between relationships. You need to do cleanses. This is where the little magical part comes in. You need to do spiritual baths. You need to cleanse. You need to ground. You need to connect with spirit. You need to heal your chakras and everything after a relationship. I feel like this is what releases that. This is what causes you to not take that into the next relationship and the next relationship and end up with guys like this who are going to pimp you, So like I said, the mirror pattern is what's going to cause you to get with him. It's not going to cause you to stay with him. It's going to cause you to get with him. It's going to like attracts like, whatever you're vibrating. You're going to just tap into that frequency and bam, there he comes. But that's not what's going to cause you to stay with him. What's going to cause you to stay with him is his entrapment of you, his demeaning of you and demoralization of you. He's going to take away your confidence, all of the confidence that you may have come into this relationship with. Slowly gets torn down. Slowly he chips away at it. Like, every time he forces you to do something that you don't want to do, let's just say you don't have sex with him. God forbid you will see the worst of him then. I kid you not. I kid you not. This is where the truth actually comes out. You just say no once and see what happens. It's like, wow, you'll see curtains open up. Like, let's watch this movie now because this guy is going to act like a baby. He's going to threaten you. He's going to abuse you. He's going to throw guilt tactics at you. He's going to throw fair tactics at you. He's going to create all kinds of hell and ruckus now because of his nymphomania or sex addiction. This was his goal. This was his intention. So now that you've said no, you refused him, you let him down. He's like, oh, hell no, not her, not this workable female. She's going to tell me no after all I did for her? What did he do for you? Break down your car? Your bed? And make you feel like shit about yourself. Because the degrading that's the part of it. This is going to keep your self-esteem low so that whenever he comes to you and says, okay, yeah, let's get some of this. Come, let me rub them thighs. Let me just do this. This is gonna what's gonna keep you hooked to say, oh yes, my baby loves me. He's the only one in the world who's gonna tell me this. He's the only one in the world that I have left. Let me just give him a little bit. You know, you're reinforcing this behavior every time you do that. And guess what? It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. You don't really believe that. You're like, how could it get worse? It can't get worse than that. Like, no way, right? Yes, it can, because there's levels to these kinds of pathological human beings. It's not going to stop there. You know, when you refuse, right? Don't forget, your body is your temple. Your body is your temple. And sex is a very powerful act. Sex is a very powerful, it's like magical as well. But what it does is actually the energy of the exchange of energy between two people. This is your two beings, your auras, your aura fields connecting. Everything about you and this other person. This is where the soul tie comes in. This is what a soul tie becomes. This is where it comes from. The act of sex, engaging with one another in an intimate fashion such as that, you're actually sharing each other's being, you see? So that's a soul tie. And now, because of that, you have to receive as the female. You're not the one slanging dick, you know? You have to receive it. So naturally, you are rendered powerless as the female when you do that by these types of individuals. That's just what it becomes. You are rendered powerless. You have to lie there and, you know, take it. Then when he's done, he gets up and he leaves. So he's going to seduce you like this. He's going to seduce you into this lifestyle eventually, where not only you have sex with him now, you're going to see eventually over time, this guy is going to come now with these new ideas. Because remember, as soon as you notice what he's really doing to you, as soon as you notice his tactics, this trick he's up to, you're going to start pulling back. You're going to start kind of trying to say no a little more. You're going to start to make excuses as to why we can't do it today. I have this, I have that. I got to go here, I got to go there. I'm sick. But you're going to realize more and more that this guy has no empathy. He has no sympathy for you. He does not care if you're sick. He does not care if you're on day 2 of your period. He does not care. He just doesn't care. So this is where the tension starts. This is where the friction starts. And you know what this guy does? He's seeing now your dignity is kind of increasing now. Your self-respect is kind of growing. He's got to fight harder. He's like, no way, hell no, she's not going to get away from me. So he's grabbing on straws now, trying to get you back at that place, back in his snare. You know what I mean? So after this is where you're going to start to, he's going to start to try to like amp up this lifestyle of yours. He's going to come with new ideas. He's going to be like, oh, well, I think things are getting a little dead. Things getting a little boring, a little stale. So I don't know. I was thinking maybe, you know, we could start doing some other stuff, man. Like, you know, and you're like, what? What are you talking about? You know, don't forget, porn is a big thing for these guys. Porn is a big thing for these guys. So everything that they see on porn, on these porn sites and DVDs and stuff, they want to do too. Because that's one of the tricks of pornography. That's why they tell you not to actually take in that kind of stuff, because you actually start to equate these people with your relationship and with your partner. So everything that he sees on those videos and stuff, he's going to want you to do too. He's like, oh, well, I think we should, like, you know, get somebody else in the bedroom. I think we should have a threesome. You know, I'd love to see that. They start thinking like, you, poor little you. Not really realizing that sex is not equal to love. Sex, listen to that again. Sex is not equal to love. Okay? You're going to just follow suit because you want to please him now. It's like, oh, he's getting insecure. He's getting angry. You're caring about his feelings more than your own. You know? So this is messing with your brain. This guy's been mind fucking you forever and ever, and you didn't even know it. But now that you're starting to see it, then you see him starting to actually put it up, put the increase on it. It's starting to turn the stove up on your ass. He's like, all right, we're gonna amp this up some more. I've heard people I've been with, one or two people, say some things that will blow your mind, because it's like, how in the world would you expect that from me? You know what I mean? I'm not even talking about typical things that people do, like, during intimate moments, like things that some people refuse to do in the first place, but some people do on a normal basis because it's become a normal thing for them. You know what I mean? There's one area that is not, to me, it's not uh, approachable in that kind of way. But these people go to the extreme now. They want to see you in a relationship with someone else, in your relationship. They want an open relationship. They want this, they want that, and I'm like, really? I have to swallow, because it's like, my God, like, no, no, hey, swallow my own spit right there, because it's like, I started salivating, okay, because it's like, this person cannot be serious. And um, subconsciously, you feel worthless. Subconsciously. Now, if you go and do that with them, if you go and engage in that kind of activity with them, you're going to feel even more worthless. You're going to feel like nothing after that fact, because that's what he's brought you down to. He's totally brought you down to his level, or even beneath his level. And just like slavery, that's what it is. It's using mind slavery, mental slavery to enslave you physically, to keep you in bondage and trapped. Everything all along, remember, was a trap to begin with. So everything that he says, everything that comes out of his mouth becomes about sex, because that is his real purpose in this relationship. It was not so you guys can get on your feet together. Pardon me, I'm just trying to fix this thing that's falling. It was not so you guys can get on your feet and then take over the world together and, like, open businesses and become a mogul or empire. It's not about that. It's about you. It's about demeaning you, degrading you, getting you to do what he likes and at his pleasure and kicks. Then he push out after that. All right. So if you're a spiritual woman on a path to enlightenment, on a path to ascension, on a path to, like, queendom, okay, goddesshood, all right, how does that fit now with you living a life of a secret prostitute? It doesn't add up. It doesn't match up. It doesn't line up. It's nothing there is coherent that makes sense. So everything that you do, you are the female now who used to go to church if you were a religious person, or you had your own very deeply intense spiritual practices, or, and here it is now, this guy is coming along now to turn you into a whore. All right. How do you think that's going to make you feel at the end of the day? That's the question. The point is to bring you down to feel like nothing, so that you abandon everything that meant something to you, that was of value and importance to you. So you reach to his level now. You're like him now. And now you can't leave him. You're stuck with him, because that's you. You and him are like two become one now. That's baloney, eh? Isn't that some baloney? Because, like, I mean, but this is what's happening so predominantly in our society, And another magical note before I even go further with this is that all of this impairs your magic. All of this impairs your ability to manifest what you want. It impairs your judgment. It impairs your, like, intuition and things like that. All of our innate, inherent qualities that we have, like, dormant within us, even though it started to flourish, now it's diminishing, because this guy is taking your whole self from you. It's messing up. He took your power, took your dignity, took your self-respect, your confidence, and your magic. Don't let nobody gonna take my magic from me, okay? Everything is magical in this world. People have a choice whether they use it for good or for evil. I choose it for good. I choose it for the good of mankind, for the good of myself and for those around me. So when you see someone doing this, it's clearly a tactic of the enemy. It's clearly a tactic of some lower energy, lower vibrational forces that are trying to take you down. This is why it's so important too to stay grounded, to stay prayed up, to stay to cleanse and do all of these other practices that are going to keep you aligned with that which you wish to be aligned with, which is truth and light and love, happiness, okay? Strength, power, not the opposite. So as long as you allow yourself to just be open to anything that's around you, you're going to be susceptible to anything that's around you. And we don't want that. That's not the way we got to be as queens, as goddesses. We call ourselves all these things, but we don't act like it. We have to start acting like it, And that's why these guys can call you bitches. These guys can say, oh yeah, that's my bitch. That's my what? Like what? 20 years ago, you would never hear that. But now it's so normal, And I'm like, oh, well, oh, yeah. You may not be a bitch. Other female may not call you a bitch as much as the male in your life. Like, my bitch. What? Never, nigga, never. And if you could call me a bitch, I call you a nigga. All right? That's just how I feel. So now, back to the topic. After you're trapped, right? Like I said, he's going to pervert the sexual encounters now. They totally become perverted. Now you're really down to his level, okay? So now he wants you to give more of yourself, all of this taboo sex, all of this kind of stuff. And spirit cannot move and work through you like that anymore. That's the thing. You are in control. You have to listen carefully to what's happening through yourself and with this person. Spirit is what gives us the magical ability, spirit. And remember now, if we cannot connect with spirit, if we have a disconnect from spirit, our magic dies. We don't want that to happen. And I'm not talking about magic in such a way, just this frivolous, kind of way. I'm talking about serious magic. Our energy dies. All of our inner prowess and divine feminine, all of these things start to die at this point. So hold on one second. Things are blowing everywhere. So I've heard a guy, tell a girl, a female in his life, this is not even his girlfriend. This is like his wife. I've heard him tell her about her big cunny. Pardon my words, because I know many people who don't live in the Bahamas may not know that word. That is like how guys say cunt. That is the raw Caribbean, I guess, dialect version of that word. So he's not saying it. He's not even trying to say it in a condescending way. He's saying it like in a complimentary way. And she's laughing. She's like, what? Man, that's the most distasteful thing I've ever heard in my life. This is showing you where this guy's mind's at. He does not respect this woman. He said that so easily, like it was nothing for him. But what you allow is what you're going to continue to receive, So the worthlessness, the worthless feeling that he's trying to build in you is so that he can actually get away with it for nothing. He can actually buy you like a prostitute, like a whore on a street corner. Remember now, being pimped. He can buy you for nothing, for free, basically. This is what Dr. Blake says. This is actually his quote right here. The worthlessness feeling is put on you so that he can buy you for nothing. And that's the saddest thing in the world that can happen, for a king and a queen to be in that kind of situationship. Because that's not a relationship to me. You're on discount. You're like a flea market find at that point. And that's nothing that we want for ourselves. That's nothing that we want for our daughters. That's nothing that we want for our sisters, not even our friends, not even any other strange female that we know or see. These guys, in fact, if you think about it, the trippiest part about it is these guys are guys, they all have mothers. Most of them have sisters. Most of them have daughters and aunts, special and significant females in their life who they would claim to kill for. Yet they go around treating their significant others like a streetwalker, like a domesticated whore. You know what I mean? And so women with master's degrees, women with doctorates, women with PhDs, I mean, women with businesses, women with apartments on rent, women with a good life. These guys are able to do that to them as well. It's not just, a chick, any old chick from like his neighborhood. This could be any woman that he's able to do this to. And the whole point of this thing, I'm going to wrap up very shortly. The whole point of this thing is to not let clowns pimp you like this. These guys are clowns. These guys are not, they are losers. They are lame-os, okay? And a lot of the time, this whole love thing, like that I grew up with, my grandma used to be like, everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody has to be given the benefit of the doubt because you don't know what environment they came from or blah, 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 blah. I don't care, okay? I don't care. Because at a certain point, you have to care about yourself and love yourself enough to put away and release anything that's not serving your highest good. And I'm at that stage in my life, and that's why I want to share this with you guys. Because like I said, I want to talk about some more personal things, some things that actually matter to us being happy, to us growing, to us elevating, to reach our potential. We cannot reach our potential if we're being torn down on a daily basis like this. So some narcissistic men might see this if they are so inclined to watch this. But if you do, thank you. Please don't be this guy that I'm talking about, So some of them might still call me a feminist. They might say, oh, this woman look like she hate men. She got a thing against men. Somebody do her wrong. Like, sweet boy, I had a good life, okay? I do the dumping. I don't get dumped, all right? Always remember that. So I will not be defined. I will not be labeled. And I damn sure will not be another statistic of this kind of male. Because you can't put a title on a guy calling him no king if he's carrying on like that. He's worse off than a peasant. I don't even want to say what I want to say on this thing, yeah? It's never too late for us to change, though. That's the thing about it. It's always hope. As long as you're alive and the sun is shining, you have hope, all right? There's chance for opportunity to grow, to evolve, for change, for advancement and development, And we got to learn who we are, sisters. We got to learn who we are, God woman, God man. As long as you do not know who you are, like I said, you're susceptible to anything. Like stand for something, like they say, or fall for nothing. That's the exact quote we need to hear right now. You got to learn to stand for something, especially standing for yourself. Stand for yourself. Stand for your children. That's what's important, Say prayers, say things, do things, practice things on a daily basis that are going to start to strengthen up your life. They're going to strengthen your mindset. It's going to actually improve your mood. That's going to put you in a place. Remember now, think about all of the people in your life and in your family who may have taught you about certain relationship rules, This is the day and age to break those rules. I've been trying to shatter glass ceilings forever. But this is the point where we really need to get motivated and get powered up to do this. Because We have kids. I have kids. I don't know if you have kids. We have kids. Our future generations depend on the things we do right now to improve their lives. So start doing meditations. Start going within yourself to find out what you truly want for yourself, what you are truly capable of for yourself. Who may have been in your life in your past who've taught you these rules that have you still sticking to them and still suffering because of them? Imagine suffering for rules that your grandma gave you, say 15, 20 years ago. Grandma's now bitten the dust, long time, and here you are, young woman, still suffering with these rules that grandma gave you that came from like 1965. Does that make sense? No. Time is that time has changed. Time to change the game. Time to change the rules. And we don't want to say it to we're becoming the players pimping the guys. No, that's not that's not what this is all about. This is about feeling good, feeling God. This is about powering up and leveling up, bossing up. All right. Divinity does not have to suffer with certain things. Like I said before, the things that Tahuti is written in the book of the Emerald Tablets. For those who seek, the truth will always be revealed. If you seek light, there's no way darkness can stay anywhere near where there's light. Any speck of light, darkness is gone. So seek truth, seek wisdom, seek knowledge. And because you're here, it means to me that you're a seeker of truth, you know? So I am so appreciative of you spending this time with me today, because this is something that is very, very strong in my heart to say, because I'm sure we know many females in this situation. And we want to come with some approaches, not to go around trying to help people who don't want to be helped. Some people just don't want to be helped. Like they say, don't save her. She don't want to be saved. All right. But for those you will know who want to be saved, who want a change in their life, then is when you will have the ability and be equipped with the right information to help that person who is going to be sent divinely to you, just when you are equipped yourself to handle that question that they may come with or that situation. Meditate on a daily basis. Visualize on a daily basis your life the way you want to see it. Without vision, the people will perish. So you need a vision. You need to see in your mind's eye who you are, where you want to be. Become that person. Start becoming that person right now. Act like it, you know. Don't allow people to degrade you. Don't allow people to just frivolously play with you and your time. Time is very important. That's all we have. Like, this is what we're working with right now. Time in this realm. So we don't have time to waste with clowns who don't have no ambition. They don't have a vision for your life. They don't even have a vision for their own. So it's up to you to have that vision for yourself. And on a daily basis, you do those things. Start to woman up. Start to take care of yourself. Try not to become dependent on a man, because that is where, oh my God, all hell breaks loose. That is where you are stuck. That is when you cannot do anything to help yourself. Because don't forget, he's taken away all of your support systems, all of that bouncy net that you had to fall on is going. It's getting thinner, and soon you're going to fall on your ass because there's no more net to catch you. So do not become dependent on that man. That's the main one of the key things to never do. Because this is what happens, almost guys who aren't even intentionally planning on doing this to their females. This is what eventually starts happening, because this guy is feeling like, I invest so much in you every day. No, no, sister. God is a father to the fatherless. This is what R.C. Blake says, okay? And I, growing up, never had a father-like figure in my life. I had a stepdad growing up. I had uncles growing up who were just like fathers to me. Thank God for that. But my dad, I don't even know this guy's middle name. I don't know. So that particular scripture was very important. I think it comes from the book of James. You know, a lot of times females with who grew up without fathers tend to get caught up in these types of cycles as well because they feel abandoned already. They felt a sense subconsciously now. A sense of abandonment and neglect. They felt alone in the world. They felt like they needed someone to come and give them strength, give them hope. And this is what leads to this spiral of pimpage. These guys practice pimpology for a very long time, and the veil is being lifted. It's time for this to be shed light on, and these guys need to push out. All right. So, with that being said, scales of Ma'at, blessed be Ashe, sister. I am so thankful that you watched this video. Share it if you can share it with anybody. Share it because the things I talk about, this is real stuff. This is real. And we want to shed light and empower our fellow sisters in this struggle, in this journey. You know, it's not an easy one, but with knowledge, with wisdom, we can overcome and we shall overcome. All right. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, and hit the notification bell next to it so that you know when I'm back with another great topic. Like I said, don't forget to share, hit like on this video if you're feeling me, this resonates with you, and be sure to leave in the comments below how you feel about this subject. You know, what situations have you seen taking place in your life or your surroundings and stuff like that, that tie into this topic, you know, and how we can start. If you have other ways and examples or suggestions, advice, how we can move forward from this place of bondage, being pimped, into freedom, liberty, you know, and justice for all. All right. So, peace and love. Thank you for watching. Blessed be. And namaste until I come back with another great topic. Bye.